In the rugged mountains of Pakistan, the resurgent Pakistani Taliban are waging a relentless and deadly war against Pakistan's security forces. After the lull of the last few years, since the fall of Kabul and the return of the Taliban, this is now by far the biggest terrorism threat that Pakistan has been facing in over a decade. Pakistan has responded to the Taliban insurgency, which was nearly defunct just 4 years ago when the Taliban took over Afghanistan. Pakistan has been responding with drone strikes and targeted military operations, the latest being the aerial strike right in the heart of Kabul last week, targeting the head of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, Noor Wali Masood. While Masood himself managed to escape, but his son and 30 others were killed. In the process, the Pakistani military also lost more than 50 armed personnel. This war of attrition has also displaced tens of thousands of ordinary people. It's also stoked anger among local communities. Pakistan's shaky grip on its mountainous western regions along the border with Afghanistan, it's called the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, is compounded by the presence of Islamic State fighters. In fact, the IS fighters have joined hands with Baloch and Talib fighters to attack Pakistani symbols of the state. The increasing terror activity has threatened Pakistan's position as a military power in South Asia. In fact, Afghanistan confirmed the latest on Sunday by saying it has killed as many as 58 Pakistani soldiers and wounded more than 30 others in overnight border clashes. In fact, these clashes between the two militaries have intensified following last week's airstrike on Kabul. Zabihullah Mujahid, who is the spokesperson for Afghanistan's Taliban government, has said that a significant amount of Pakistani weapons also fell into the hands of the Afghan forces. Pakistan has not yet commented on the Taliban government's claim. In fact, Pakistan disputes the number of soldiers killed at 58, saying it's far less, probably in the 20s.
د تیرې شپې عملیات افغانستان اسلامي امارت لخوا نه پیل شول، هغه انتقامي عملیاتو چې د دوی د نقض د حریم ځواب وویل شو چې زموږ حریم دوی نقض کړی او دا بریدونه په ټول امتداد د کرښې کې اجرا شول. او د موږ د معلوماتو له مخې 100 نه زیاتې پوستې تصرف شوي دي د مجاهدینو لخوا نه او 58 د دوی نظامیان له منځه تللي دي، د 150 په شاوخوا کې ټپیان لري او تر 9 پورې زموږ مجاهدین هم شهیدان شوي دي او 14 نه تر 13 پورې زخمیان لرو او د دوی وسلې او مهمات هم نیول شوي دي په امتداد د کرښې. وروسته په نیمه شپو کې بیا د قطر هیواد او د سعودي عربستان د هیواد د غوښتنو په اساس باندې اسلامي امارت جګړه ودروله، خو زموږ معلومات دا دي چې نن سهار هم د پاکستاني اړخ نه بیا د فایرونه سوي دي په پوستو باندې او جګړې ته ځینو ځایو کې لمن وهل سوی دی.
Pakistan's all-powerful army chief, Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir, met with US President Donald Trump at the White House last month. In fact, this was their second meeting in just over 3 months. The Pakistani leadership seems to have clawed its way back into the good books of Trump with a promise of rare earth minerals as well as buying Trump bitcoins. That's when the Taliban is presenting Pakistan with its fiercest security challenge in years. Since the Taliban took power in Afghanistan in 2021, the Pakistani Taliban, known as the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or the TTP, have grown into a powerful and well-structured terror group. The leadership has received financial support from the Taliban-run government in Afghanistan. Its fighters have trained and moved freely across the border. The Taliban in Afghanistan deny backing the TTP, but the Pakistan Taliban have been able to assert themselves and the balance of power is starting to lean against the Pakistan state machinery and its security forces. As TTP operations have grown more sophisticated and more deadly, the group has more often than not targeted Pakistan's police and soldiers instead of targeting civilians. And that is much to the chagrin of Pakistani officials.
इसमें किसी को कोई शक नहीं होना चाहिए, अगर किसी गांव से या किसी पनाहगाह से 4 या 5 या 10 या 15 आदमी निकल के हमारे किसी फौजी काफले के ऊपर जो है हमला करते हैं, उसका जवाब जो है हो सकता है सबको सब साथ कोलैटरल डैमेज भी हो, उसको सबको सब भुगतना पड़ेगा. जहां पे उनकी पनाहगाहें होंगी उनको भी भुगतना पड़ेगा और जो लोग उनको पनाहगाह देते हैं उनको भी भुगतना पड़ेगा. Enough is enough.
Terrorist attacks in Pakistan surged last year to their highest levels since 2015, driven largely by the TTP. This is as per data according to the Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies, which is a regional think tank. The attacks have made Pakistan the second most affected country by terrorism, according to the Global Terrorism Index. In response, the Pakistani military has launched a large-scale offensive this summer in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the province that borders Afghanistan, and that's where the Taliban have mostly been operating. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced since the beginning of this year. The military operation has been contained to a few districts in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but local leaders and security experts fear it's going to spread throughout the region, much like what happened back in the early 2010s. Now, at that time, there were regular terror attacks by the Taliban directed at American troops who were stationed there. And a fallout of that, the Pakistani soldiers have also lost their lives, becoming collateral damage in the war on terror. But all of that changed after the killing of Osama bin Laden in 2012, the leader of Al-Qaeda, who was discovered in a safe house in Abbottabad, just 60-odd kilometers from the capital, Islamabad. The TTP, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, was created in 2007 as a reaction to Pakistan's support of the American invasion of Afghanistan. An alliance of terrorist groups, it implemented the Sharia law in what were then the tribal areas, also subject to colonial-era regulations, and launched attacks systematically on Pakistani security forces as well as foreign troops. Over the years, the TTP terrorists have indiscriminately targeted universities, religious leaders, civilian groups, including in Pakistan's biggest cities. In Pakistan, government's own estimate, more than 30,000 Pakistanis have been killed in the last 20 years since the creation of the Pakistan Taliban. And that number is only likely to go up in the coming months because of renewed hostilities on the 2,000-kilometer Durand line, the border that separates Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.